This episode of Born to Baseball is sponsored by the BTB Travel Team and Training Tracker. Are you a parent or player searching for travel teams or training facilities in your area? Or are you a coach looking to expand your reach? Then you have to check out the BTB Triple T Tracker at borntobaseball.com. Make sure your team is represented. Let's go.
Calling all ball players. Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Were you born to baseball? Then bring it in. It's game time.
Check it out.
Hey guys, welcome to the Born to Baseball podcast. Today we're excited to have Shea Hillenbrand with us. Shea played 7 years in the major leagues, is a two-time All-Star, and was Player of the Year 3 out of 5 years in the minor leagues. Some of his career highlights include hitting a game-winning home run off of Mariano Rivera at Fenway Park and hitting 3 home runs in 3 consecutive innings. It's amazing. Shea, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Would you like to start us off by sharing your baseball journey?
My baseball journey, I think that would take about an hour and a half to share that. But a lot like you, what you shared with me before we started the show is that ever since I can remember, since 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, I had a baseball in one hand and a glove in the other hand, pursuing my dream of becoming a Major League Baseball player. So I have 2 older brothers, and they never did anything. They didn't do the extra work. They didn't go outside and play and put in the extra work to get themselves advanced at whatever they were doing. So they had the same opportunities I did, but they didn't take advantage of that. So I want to share that with all your listeners out there, that baseball is something that's different than most sports. Is you have to have a hunger inside yourself with baseball for the game. You have to love the game in order to go out there and work outside of practice, outside of games, outside of tournaments, outside of the rings, outside of the bats, all that stuff. You have to work. So starting in middle school and high school, I'd eat supper real quick inside with the family, and I'd run back outside, and I'd hit the ball off the tee in the backyard. My father didn't buy me a tee or a net or any of that stuff. So I made a contraption, a net out of PVC piping, which is what your irrigation piping is for your sprinkler systems, for the frame. And then I had a bed sheet. And boy, was that bed sheet loud, man. I hit that ball so hard just to wake up my neighbors and make our neighbors, let them know that here is Shea Hillenbrand. It's going to be a Major League Baseball player. So I worked harder than everybody else. And I grew up in the LA area, and I was a diehard Dodger fan when I grew up. And my mom had season tickets to the Dodgers games. And my mom, my best friend, and myself would sit at the third deck in the top of the stadium. And I'd sit there with my chocolate malt in one hand, my nachos in the other hand, and I would just say, I'm going to be out there someday. I'm going to be out there someday. I am going to be a Major League Baseball player starting at 7, 8, 9 years old. And that's what I want to convey to your listeners as well, is that everybody has to have a dream. Everybody has a dream. They have a purpose, and they have a mission to accomplish here on earth. And I wanted to become a Major League Baseball player ever since, just like yourself. And I think you can relate to that. So I would engage my senses, and you got to make your dream become tangible by engaging the senses that you have. You got to touch it. You got to feel it. You got to smell it. You got to taste it, and you got to visualize it. Okay. So I sit at the top of the deck, the third deck at Dodger Stadium, and I'd say, I'd hear the crack of the bat. I'd hear the roar of the crowd. I'd smell the grass. And I'd always imagine the announcer announcing my name. Now batting, number 29, Shea Hillenbrand. And everybody thought I was crazy because the chances of becoming a major leaguer is so insanely difficult, but I didn't care because I made my dream become tangible, and it was nobody else's dream but myself. So you can't compare yourself to other people's dreams, because some people at your age, young lads at your age, are playing baseball because their dad wants them to, or their mom wants them to, or that's what the cool thing is, my friends. You have to have your own dream, and I did that. So when I was a kid, I had 2 dreams. I wanted to become a Major League Baseball player, and I wanted to own a zoo. Yes, you heard me correctly. So when I left Major League Baseball in the prime of my career at 32 years old, I bought a zoo. I think I'm the only Major League Baseball player to ever do this, ever. Major League Baseball, to buying a zoo. Why? Because I loved animals, and I loved helping out kids just like yourself with the animals. So I purchased a farm, 38 acres, had 300 farm and exotic animals, camels, kangaroos, llamas, alpacas, monkeys, raccoons, everything under the moon. And I put them in a position to help kids out like yourself and impact their lives. So I'm kind of a unique individual, and I always kind of like did my own thing. So, but you got to follow your dreams.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
You excelled as an all-around athlete growing up, baseball and soccer especially. What role did being a multi-sport athlete play in your development?
That's a great question, man. Where are you researching these questions, man? Who did you do these on your own?
Yeah,
That's
much.
awesome, dude. You do a great job. So
Thank you.
I always played multiple sports when I was a kid because I'm super competitive and I'm pretty athletic. So I played baseball in baseball season, basketball in basketball season, in elementary school and junior high. And then I played football in football season, soccer in soccer season. And what people don't understand is that you can't play baseball more than 8 months out of the year because it drives your mind crazy. You have to let your mind rest. And I'm telling you, as a major leaguer playing every day in the major leagues, getting 600 at bats, after 6 months of doing that, you're like, get me the heck out of here. Even us as adults, even us as the best in the world at what we do, we deal with that because this is how we are as human beings, as people. So you got to rest your mind. So I love soccer. Soccer was a heck of a lot easier than baseball. I love slide tackling people. I love trying to be aggressive and doing that stuff and anticipate. I was a forward. And actually, I was a #1 soccer player in high school in Arizona. I had no options to play baseball anywhere out of high school. I had options to play soccer in Europe, had options to play at a university, Division I university for soccer, but my childhood dream was to play Major League Baseball. So I walked on at the local community college. That's the only option I had. And I was the first guy there and the last guy to leave every single day. Why? Because I had a dream of becoming a Major League Baseball player. And I made the team because of my work ethic. And after 3 years of playing at the junior college, some people might say, how'd you play at junior college 3 years? Because junior college is 2 years. I medical redshirted 1 year. So I was actually there for 3 years. I became the #1 baseball player in Arizona at the junior college level after 3 years. So it's just work ethic, but you have to play multiple sports. You have to for development and to be able to move and do different things and stimulate your mind. You have to be able to play multiple sports. And it's challenging for you guys now as kids because a lot of coaches are like, oh, you got to play baseball year round. No, you don't. Here's a guy right here that didn't do it. And I made millions and millions of dollars in the major leagues playing multiple sports. And a lot of Major League Baseball players do the same thing. So I challenge people just to enjoy being a kid because when you grow up, you have to deal with adult things. So enjoy playing multiple sports.
Yeah, that's great advice. You were drafted as a shortstop, but played multiple positions in the MLB. How were you able to adjust to that?
You weren't going to stop me. I don't care what anybody says. I was going to become a major leaguer. Check this out. First of all, I grew up a diehard Dodger fan, like I told you. And in 1996, long time ago, I was drafted by the Boston Red Sox. And that was my childhood dream to get drafted by a Major League Baseball team, right? To get drafted by a team to go professional baseball. And I told all my friends, check this out, at 20 years old, I told all my friends I got drafted by the White Sox. And they're like, what are you talking about, man? You got drafted by the Red Sox, like the most prestigious team, like Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees. And I was like, wait, I got drafted by the Red Sox? I didn't even know what team I got drafted by because I wanted to become a major leaguer. And my excuse every time, or my answers every time, I had two answers I'd tell everybody because they thought I was kind of crazy. I didn't even know what team I got drafted by. I said, for one, I'm a Dodger fan. All right. When you grow up a Dodger fan, you show up in the third inning, you leave in the seventh inning to beat traffic. So you don't know anything about baseball outside of Dodger Stadium in LA as a West Coast Dodger fan. Quite different than New York. Let me tell you that much right there, buddy. So I said, I'm a Dodger fan. And for two, I told everybody this. Mark my words, bud. I told them, I don't care what Sox it is. White Sox, Red Sox, Blue Sox, Purple Sox, Pink Sox. I'm going to the big leagues. So it doesn't matter what team you're on. You just got to have the opportunity and take advantage of that. Yeah. So after I got drafted as a shortstop. Check this out. #1 shortstop in Arizona Junior College. I went to play my first 10 games in professional baseball in Lowell, Massachusetts. I had no idea what I was doing. I knew how to hit. I didn't know how to field. I made 14 errors. Check this out. I made 14 errors in my first 10 games at shortstop. And I was up there wearing it, man. I was out there, oh my gosh, this is horrible. 3,000, 4,000 fans booing you because you're missing the ball all the time. And the manager came up to me one day and he said, hey, do you want to play like first base or something? I was like, yes, please. Get me out of here, man, because I can't do shortstop. And then after my second year of playing professional baseball, the organization came up to me, one of the members in the organization, the management, and said, hey, do you want to learn how to play catcher? They said, if you learn how to catch, you can go to the big leagues pretty quick. So that off season, after my second year of playing professional baseball, after a couple Player of the Year's awards, I went to Australia and I learned how to catch. And with that, I came to the big leagues as a catcher. And then,
Wow.
And then after that, I started at third base on opening day with the Red Sox. So you have to, you know that song, put me in, coach, I'm ready to play today. You have to be able to do whatever the coach tells you to do, man, because you never know what opportunity might arise.
Do you think it's important for a youth baseball player to learn and play multiple positions?
Absolutely, because you never know what's going to happen because there's only 9 guys on the field at one time, right? The pitcher had 8 position players. I was no good at pitching, so I said, don't give me that baseball. I'm not a good pitcher. I like to crush pitchers hitting. So you have to be able to be ready, and you never know. You never know what's going to happen. I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that I would have been a catcher in professional baseball. But I said, yes, I'll do it. You learn it, and it gives you more opportunities. But the most important thing I want to convey to you, bud, is that, and your listeners, is that you have to learn the game of baseball. Baseball is like chess. There's so many parts of the game, whether you're hitting and running, situations, whether it's a 1-2 count or a 2-2 count or a 2-0 count or a 3-1 count, or if there's a guy in first base where you're going to throw the ball. There's so many different parts of the game that we got to learn. And so many players now are so worried about how their swing is, how their launch angle is, how pretty is that ball, how far did I hit it, how hard did I throw it. There's so many more things involved with baseball than that. And I want to convey that to you guys. The quicker you learn the information, the better, fast you get there. That's what Pedro Martinez told me. I don't know if you remember Pedro Martinez with the Red Sox. He's a Hall of Famer now, but he told me one day when I was in spring training as a rookie, a minor leaguer, he said, Shea, let me tell you one thing. It's not how much you learn. It's how quickly you learn it is what gets you to the big leagues. And that's the number one thing that stuck with me the whole time is that it's not how much you know. It's how much you implement it. It's how much you put it to play, how much you get it to work. You can have all the information in the world, but if you don't apply it, you're not going to have success on a consistent basis.
Wow, that's great. So you didn't just practice for the sake of practicing, you practiced with a purpose. What was your practice routine and hitting process like leading up to the bigs?
Oh my gosh. That's you have to have an obsession for the game. So when you start getting paid to play the game, you have to have an obsession. Check this out. I've swung a baseball bat over 1 million times. Think about that. You guys might not understand how many times. 1 million swings. I'd swing the bat 60,000 times every offseason in 3 months. 60,000 times. 60,000 divided by 3, what? Is 20,000 swings a month. So you have to learn how to have a process to swing the bat. I take pride in teaching young guys like you how to work. See, what happens is the mechanics of your swing has 20%, 20, to deal with the success of your swing. And what I don't understand is so many coaches talk about the mechanics of your swing. It doesn't matter. What it is 80% of the success of your swing, guys, has to deal with psychology. Psychology is not with a psychologist sitting on the couch and whatever. What psychology is what are you focusing on? See, I have a 4-step focus formula. It's $1 million focus formula that all guys do in the major leagues that hit over 300 in the big leagues. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that. I'm not really that great, but I know how to work, and I outworked everybody else. And I thought about what can I help people out with? Not mechanics, not teaching guys pitch counts, this and that. I want to teach guys how to work. So I have a 4-step focus formula when you get off the batting tee. I have a 4-step focus formula when you get when you hit soft toss, when you throw a coach pitch, when you have the machine throwing, whether you're fielding a ground ball, whether you're catching a fly ball, whether you're throwing. You always have to have a system and a process in place with what you do. My 4-step focus formula, real quick for you guys, and if you want the information, y'all can reach out to me after this. But the first step when you're hitting the ball off the tee is you got to have direction in the batting cage. Where are you going to hit the ball? Where am I going to hit this ball? I'm going to hit it off the L screen. Step number 2, I'm going to look at the ball, and I'm going to tell myself, hit the ball off the L screen. In my mind, I'm going to tell my mind what to do. Step number 3 is going to be, boom, I'm going to achieve my load, my loading mechanism. Step number 1, where am I going to hit it? Step number 2, I'm going to look at the ball. Step number 3, I'm going to achieve my load. And step number 4, I'm going to feel my swing. I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if you have a specific thought, one specific focus, guys, you're going to be able to have extreme confidence and achieve what you want to achieve on a consistent basis. If you have generalized focus, I'm going to think about this and this and this and that and that and this and this and this. Generalized focus causes confusion. And when you're confused, the 100% byproduct of that is no self-confidence. I want self-confidence when I go to the plate to hit a home run off Mariano Rivera. Oh my gosh, the next day he threw it at my head. So you have to understand how to work. It's not about being pretty. It's about grinding it and having an understanding. Because if you have that specific focus, if you know what to do is step 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to stir up a hunger inside you, and you're going to want to go out to work because you're going to have success. And you're going to be consistent with your success. You want to go hit right now, I tell you what.
Yeah. Now, that's great advice for us youth baseball players, and especially that 4-step process. We could definitely implement that in our game. So,
yes.
Strong work ethic has been one of your keys to success. What drives you, and what advice would you give to youth baseball players who may be managing with distractions and other responsibilities?
What do you mean? Dealing with the cell phone? What do you mean? Social media? What do you mean? Twitter? What do you mean? IG? What do you mean? TikTok? All that stuff, right?
Yep.
Check it out. You have to have a hunger. It all starts with your why. Why am I doing what I am doing? That why has to come in from within you, bud. That has to come from you. Like you said, you have to want to be able to go and throw the ball in the house. You want to be able to go outside. You want to be able to have that hunger and that love for the game. You need to have love for baseball. I always tell people baseball is like relationships. I'm married, so I understand that. All right? Baseball is like relationships. Love has to be unconditional. Why? Because in a relationship, there's a lot of failure. There's a lot of confliction. There's arguments. There's a lot of misunderstandings because you're dealing with two separate people trying to become one person. That's like me as a baseball player and baseball. Baseball will eat you up. Baseball will tear you down. Check this out, bud. I had 600 at-bats in the major leagues, and I had success 180 times out of 600. Think about that.
Wow.
180 times I had success out of 600 over 6 months. You know how much failure that is? That's 70% failure. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I suck. Oh my gosh, I'm not do good. Oh my gosh. What I'm trying to say is I hit 310 that year for the D-backs when I went 180. 180 for 600 is 300. So I have what 185 or 188, 190. They're like, it's just crazy how much failure there is in baseball. You have to have hunger for the baseball. Why are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing it for the love of the game? Are you doing it because your dad wants you to do it? Are you doing it because you want to get a college scholarship? You want to make the high school varsity baseball team? Or do you want to play professional? You have to understand clearly what you want to do. And then 2, you have to have that work ethic. You have to seek somebody out. Seek somebody out like myself that's been there and done it and ask them, how do I do it? So you seek someone out and you have them lay out a plan for you. All right? Just do this, and this. Okay, say you just sought me out and asked how to hit the batting cage, right? I said simple. Just do 1, 2, 3, 4. Direction, ball, achieve your load, feel. Direction, ball, achieve your load, feel. Direction, ball, achieve your load, feel. I just gave you $1 million formula, and step number 3 is the hardest thing. Hardest thing for so many people. And the hardest thing in step number 3 is you have to go implement it. You have to go do it. There's no secret formula to success other than you got to go. So whenever my friends were sick, I was working. Whenever my friends were partying, hanging out with their friends, playing video games, I was outside working. When they say it's too hot, yes, it gets hot in Arizona, like 122 degrees. 120. I was outside working.
Wow.
I was out there. Too cold, I was out working. And that's what it is. You have to have that consistency. So check it out. 4% of high school players in the United States play professional baseball. 4%. No, excuse me, 0.05%. 0.05%. And out of those 0.05% of high school baseball players, 4% go to the major leagues of the 0.05 that make it. And then 13% of the 4% of the 0.05% become an all-star. I did all that. So if I tell you right now, you have a 3% chance of living your dream? What would you think? I have 3% chance of living my dream. If I tell you that, what would you think? You probably think that I have a 97% chance I'm not going to do it. So why would I go fulfill my dream? Why would I go chase my dream? If only 3% of people make it, or say like 1%, 99% of a chance I'm not going to make it. Why would I go do it? Let me tell you the secret right now. And this is the secret potion right here. What it means, if I tell you have 1% chance of making it, what it means is that whenever you come to confliction, whenever you come into failure, whenever you come into a bump in the road, what it means is 99% of people give up. 99% of people, when they're chasing their dream, when they get, oh my gosh, I had a bad game. Oh my gosh, my coach told me I'm no good. Oh my gosh, I didn't make the varsity baseball team. What it means is 99% of people give up. 1% of people keep going. I told you at the beginning that I walked on at a junior college. I didn't have a chance to go anywhere out of high school. I could have given up, but I said, no, I want to be a 1%er. And what the 1%ers are is that they take no. There's no such thing as no in their vocabulary. There's no such thing. You tell me no, I'll find another way. You tell me no, you tell me I'm no good. I can't tell you how many times I've been told I suck. Of course, I played as a Red Sox player in Yankee Stadium. You know how many times I was told I suck in Yankee Stadium? How many times I told I was no good? Boo, Hillenbrand, you suck. I don't care. I'm going to go work in the batting cage afterwards, and I'm going to figure this stuff out. And you're going to see me on TV in front of millions, man. That's what it's about right there.
Yeah. 3 home runs in 3 consecutive innings. That doesn't happen by accident. What are some of the things you did behind the scenes to lead up to a moment like that?
It's the same thing. That's a great question, too. Your questions are awesome, man. And I appreciate those good questions because a lot of times people ask crazy questions, but you're doing an amazing job, bud. I do this all the time and with the people all around the world. So awesome. It's the same thing, bud. It's exact same thing. I know exact and same is a double negative, so you can't say that. So it's the exact thing or the same thing as I was talking about. It's work and work and work and work. If I work with the process and if I work with the system, like when I'm playing catch, I think about the same thing. When I'm fielding a ground ball, I'm a 2-time all-star third baseman in the major leagues. I have no clue how to field a ground ball. I am no bueno. You're probably like, what? What are you talking about? I know how to have systems. I know how to have processes, and I know how to implement them, and I know how the brain works. I know how confidence works. I know how to get things done. And that's what super, super successful people do. When I go to field a ground ball, I do 4 steps. I read the ground ball. I read the ground ball, step 1. I read it for speed, location, and hop. Where is it hit? How hard is it hit? Get that hop. Step number 2, I set up for the ground ball. I go right, left, and I pick it. And then I go right, left, pick up my target, throw. Read the ground ball. Right, left, pick it. Right, left, pick up my target, throw. Read the ground ball. Right, left, pick it. Right, left, pick it. And do that over and over. Specific focus on one thing. And you're going to be able to have success and consistency and go and tap into all the talent that you've been blessed with, all the ability that you've been given. Everybody's so worried about the external things. What is this coach going to say? What is this parent going to say? Who cares what they say? It's what you say to yourself. And the way you get confidence is 2 things: work and work and work and work. And the second thing is self-talk. There's 60,000 thoughts that go through our head every day subconsciously. 48,000 of those 60 are negative. So it's what are you saying to yourself to go out there to give you an opportunity to hit 3 home runs in 3 consecutive innings. Let me tell you what, I didn't even know that was going on. Intuition kicks into the game. You go out there and compete, and when I'm competing in the batter's box, I only think about 2 things. That's it. I have 2 focuses. When am I going to start and read the pitch? When am I going to start and read the pitch? At what point in time in the pitch's windup am I going to start my load? And then the second thing I focus on, read the pitch. And those pitches so happen to be in a spot directed as jack some home runs and put on a show for the crowd of 48,000 people. But my teammates didn't tell me until my last at bat. It was my 5th at bat that I'm going for an all-time record of the most home runs consecutively of Major League history of 4 times in 4 consecutive at bats. They told me right before my last at bat. And then when I went to the plate for my last at bat, everybody who was watching the Yankees game, everybody's watching any other game, they all switched to my at bat. So I had millions of millions of millions of millions of people watching me at my at bat, and my knees were shaking. I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Because we're humans too, right? So I was nervous, and I took the first pitch because I wasn't focused, because sometimes things get overwhelming and things happen. And that darn pitcher threw me a hanging curveball first pitch. I could have hit it out of the stadium. But I ended up hitting a double to center field. I went 5 for 5 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs. So, and I'm no better than you. You're probably better than me right now at your age when I was your age. But you have to work hard. Whatever you do, whether it's your schoolwork, whether it's your chores, whether it's being a good son or being a good friend or whatever you do, you have to work hard. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't do that.
Yep, that's a big part of life in general. And,
absolutely, buddy.
And 5 for 5 isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but you got to go out there the next night and do it again. So it's crazy in the major leagues because you play every single night. So you got to enjoy those little wins, but you got to stay focused now.
Yeah. So what was your reaction when you learned that you made it to the All-Star team for the first time?
Oh, it was crazy. It was my second year in the major leagues. I was with the Red Sox, and I was having a really good start of the season. And this one day, man, your questions are awesome, man. They get exciting. One day I was sitting on the couch in the afternoon before I went to the ballpark, and I turned on ESPN. I never watch ESPN. I never watch any of that stuff because I don't watch TV. I didn't listen to music till I was 14 years old. I was always outside pursuing my dream. I was always like different. So I just turned on the TV, and it happened to be like showing like the All-Star balloting for the third basemen in the American League. So it said, American League, like the players that are in a position to lead it. And I was leading all the third basemen. Oh my gosh, man. And I was beating Robin Ventura. He was with the Yankees and I was with the Red Sox. And I'm like, the fans are actually voting for me? Like 5 years ago, I was in junior college and I'm in the major leagues, and I'm like, these people love me that much? And it's the most amazing feeling ever. And then being able to play the All-Star game, that first game, I started at third base. Alex Rodriguez was at shortstop. Ichiro Suzuki, like, it was crazy, man. All these guys. My idol in high school and college was Mike Piazza, because I came up as a catcher, and he was like the best hitting catcher ever. Like, oh my gosh, man. And all I ever wanted to do was beat Mike Piazza. So my first at bat, Ichiro Suzuki led off and then I hit second. My first at bat, I went to home plate because I was playing in the American League and Mike Piazza was playing for the Mets. So I never played against him because we didn't have interleague at that time. So I went to home plate and Mike Piazza. I said, "How you doing, Mike?" Like, he's like, "Hey, Shea, congratulations." He's talking to me like we're friends, and he's like my idol. I couldn't believe it, man. It's the most amazing experience ever. The All-Star Game's absolutely crazy. They have a parade. They have a media day. Like, you go to your hotel room for the All-Star Game, and your whole bed is full with bags of just equipment and just stuff. They give you all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And when you're in the major leagues, you fly in airplanes, like your private planes for the team, and they give you all the snacks you want. You get to choose between 4 or 5 different meals, whether it's steak or lobster or spaghetti or chicken, or they treat you like kings, man. And you have ice cream, and you have like popsicles, and you have like everything. And in the clubhouse, there's like a little room, like a convenience store, to where they have all the candies you want, hot dogs, nachos. Dude, it's crazy, man. And then like, you don't even touch your bags. Like, to pack your bags in the major leagues, like they pack them for you. You don't even touch your bags, and it's just amazing. It's like you stay in 5-star hotels, like stayed in the Ritz-Carlton in Houston. I had a doorbell in my room because the room is so big. And that was my first time in the major leagues. And I was, have you seen the movie Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin? The movie Home Alone. Like, I was jumping up on top of my bed, like, yeah. Oh my gosh, man, dude, it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, playing in the major leagues and living your dream is the coolest experience ever.
Sounds amazing. What was your favorite All-Star Game memory? Was it when you met Mike Piazza and you guys were talking? Or was it in like those experiences where you got to see people like Alex Rodriguez, Ichiro, and all those type of guys?
It's pretty overwhelming because, like, even when you get in the major leagues, it's so hard to get in the major leagues. But to be like, they're like all-star players at 13% of all major leaguers. So it's like 60 guys or 55 guys out of 700 that do that each year. So it's the whole experience is crazy, man. It's so cool to be able to to see all the guys that are superstars and you're in a clubhouse with them. And like Jason Giambi was a first baseman for the Yankees and he was hitting the home run derby. I think that was pretty darn cool to sit on the field during the home run derby of the All-Star game, because you always watch it on TV and all that stuff, and being on the field like right there next to them and watch them launch the balls, man, like it's just crazy. It's just but the whole thing, like the managers, like it's such an honor and it's such an experience. It's hard to explain. It's really overwhelming for your senses. It's such a cool. I never thought I'd ever do it, but I never focused on becoming an all-star. I focused on how can I be the very best I am right now. So you're 12 years old? You're 12 years old, right? How could, like, say you want to play high school baseball and you want to play varsity, like that's your next major milestone or whatever, or the freshman team or whatever. Like, what can you do right now with that vision in sight of, I want to play varsity baseball, or I want to play freshman baseball, or whatever it is, or I want to play in college, or I want to play professional major league. I always wanted to become a major league baseball player, but I never thought about that. And I never focused on that. I kept that in the back of my mind, but I focused to where I was right there. I'm going to be the very best I can today. I'm going to be the very, very best I can in this at bat or for my team right now or whatever it is. And tomorrow, I'm going to do everything I can tomorrow right now, because the next day is not guaranteed. But if you do the very best and focus where you're at now, you never know where you're going to be. It's like you could be on top of the world and become a two-time All-Star and make millions like myself. It's just, you got to be focused where you're at. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. You got to do that and force people to make a decision to play you. And they'll do that by being a good teammate. They'll do that by producing, and they'll do that by seeing you work hard. Coaches love that.
You've said, like you said it earlier, and you've also said it in a YouTube video, that 80% of hitting is psychology and 20% is mechanics. What can youth baseball players do to make sure they're training their mental muscles just as much as their physical ones?
That's a great question, bud. That's a great question. The biggest thing is you got to go work. You got to work. Swing is like zebra stripes. I like animals, so I use zebra stripes, or you could use a fingerprint. Everybody, your swing is different than mine, and my swing is different than the next person. Everybody has their own swing. And you're trying to get a result of hitting a line drive or hitting a home run or whatever you're trying to achieve, have a good quality at bat. You've got to go out there and learn how to work, and you'll figure it out yourself. And that's the thing is like, you have to understand that you can't think about so many different things. You just got to focus on the ball. And when you focus on the ball, I got to figure out when I'm going to start my swing. Generally, when you start your swing is when the pitcher breaks his hands. All right. So when the ball comes out of the pitcher's glove and he's starting to come up, he's winding up and get ready to throw. I'm winding up and getting ready to hit. It's all timing and rhythm with the pitcher. But you have to be focused on one specific thing. It's a soft focus, which is like relaxed and chill. So now I can react. Right? So a swing is a reaction. It's not a swing, it's a reaction. And two things have to happen for me to react to something, which is I want to react to the pitch, right? Two things. The first thing is you have to be 100% focused on what you're reacting to. And the second thing is so darn hard to do in Yankee Stadium. You have to be relaxed. Your muscles have to be relaxed. You can't be tense. You can't be going crazy. You can't be, oh, I'm going to crush. You got to be relaxed like a cobra, like a tiger in the weeds getting ready to pounce on his prey. So what I got to do is just relax. And I'm focused on the pitcher, his arm. It's like a small area that I'm focusing on, right? And then the second thing I focus on is read the pitch. Or when I'm working, focus where you're at right there. When you're in a batting cage, focus exactly where you're at. Off the tee, where am I going to hit it? Focus on the ball, achieve my load fill. I can't think about talking to my teammates. I can't think about girls. I can't think about school. I can't think about all this stuff. I have to be focused right where I'm at. And I think that's what I was really, really good at, to where it allowed me to excel at a rapid pace because of that. I'm telling you, your focus is 80% of the dealer's success, everything. And then 20% is mechanics. I'm telling you, like, everybody's mechanics are different in the major leagues. Everybody's swing's different, but coaches are trying to teach the same thing. And you can't really do that. But in order for you to understand what you need to do, you just have to go out there and work.
Wow. Faith plays a big role in your life. How does it impact your self-confidence and the work you do to support young kids through baseball?
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. It is. So we're made up of three parts. You're made up of your spirit, you're made up of your mind, you're made up of your body. And whether it doesn't matter if you believe in God, doesn't matter if you believe in the universe or Buddha or whatever, it doesn't matter. We are spiritual beings. So there's 6 human needs that we have, every human being, right? The first need is for the body, which is certainty, uncertainty, love and connection, and significance. And those are the body. To the spirit, or you got to grow and you got to give. You got to grow and you got to give. You got to work on yourself. You got to grow as a person. You got to continue to grow, and you have to give to other people. I've made millions of dollars. I've lived my dreams. 98% of people don't get to live any of their dreams. I lived 2 of my dreams. Major League Baseball, owning a zoo. I had 3 mansions, 6 cars, 300 pairs of shoes. I flew in private jets. I flew in the fastest jet in the world, civilian jet in the world. Hung out with presidents, hung out with movie stars. I've been in front of everybody, living my dreams. I'd had little girls in the stands holding up signs, say, "Will you marry me, Shea?" I do autograph signings for $10,000 an hour. And girls are coming to the table crying and shaking like I'm Justin Bieber. But what happens is that doesn't mean anything. You have to be able to grow yourself, and you have to be able to give. And that's what it's about, is giving back. And my faith is I thought I was supposed to be a Major League Baseball player. As you can see, my purpose is to motivate. My purpose is to inspire. My purpose is to tell someone like you can do it, bud. And that's my clothing line right here, 2V's Apparel. It's 2V's, voice to the voiceless. So what we want to do is we want to inspire people like you to use your voice to impact the world, just what you're doing right now. So thank you, because you are impacting so many people that you don't even understand at this time of your life, because it's amazing. There's not many kids that do it, but you're having people on that have a voice to help impact players. So my dream, ultimate dream, is to inspire major leaguers, inspire people that are superstars to use their voice to impact the world, because there's no greater feeling than to help somebody else out.
Yeah, that's really strong.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So, if we want to be successful in baseball and in life, we can't make excuses. So, what does against all odds mean for you?
Against all odds means that I was driving around one day and my Hummer had an H2 Hummer, yellow, all chromed out, zebra headliner, pimping stereo system. I put $100,000 in this car, and a voice came to my head, which I correlated to the Holy Spirit. It says, start a foundation and call it Against All Odds. Against all odds is just doing everything and having success against all odds. That's my journey. That's my life. That's my story. There's no reason why I should have made it to where I was, because I wasn't the best player. It's crazy. But I was blessed to have the opportunity to play Major League Baseball, to get a name, to utilize a platform, to leverage that to help other people make their lives better. So between Against All Odds and Voice to the Voiceless, 2V's Apparel, we're teaming up and utilizing baseball as a platform to be able to teach and give back, and utilize baseball to teach life skills, because there's so many skills in baseball that transfer to life. Because at some point in time, baseball is going to be over for everybody. You can't play forever, right? So At 32 years old, I walked away from baseball. At some point in time, baseball is going to be over, but I learned so many life lessons, whether it's failure, navigating failure, whether it's performing under pressure, or whether it's being a good teammate, or whether it's, we call it pivoting, whether it's, okay, I got to do this. You got to find a way to have success. And that's what's the beauty about baseball. And I think my heart grieves. I get sad because I think the coaches, I think the leaders, I think the parents, a lot of parents are taking that love of baseball out of the game for guys like you, because of the pressure they put on, and we're going to have success or whatever. The game will beat you up enough. I have to, as a coach, I have to, as a mentor, I have to, as a dad, I have to, as a person that's been there, done that, to motivate you, to inspire you, because the game, I'm telling you, there's so much failure. The game will beat you up enough. I have to lift you up and pick you back up and say, dude, you could do it. Let's go. You might have went 0 for 4 today, but tomorrow's a new day, and you can go out there and rock it.
Yeah. So sometimes our biggest wins come after tough failures. What advice would you give to youth baseball players on bouncing back after a mistake, a bad at bat, or a slump?
The only difference between me and my friends and you is I failed more than everybody else. Every successful person fails. If you talk about anybody out there right now, all the billionaires, all the millionaires, all the superstars, or whether it's Mike Trout or whether it's whomever it is, the pitcher you just got. I don't even watch baseball. I'm sorry, dude. Who's the pitcher? Cole that you guys
Garrett
got?
Cole, yeah.
Yeah, it's Garrett Cole. Like, we have failed so much. It's understanding about don't allow failure to define who you are. Failure is a part of the process, and you will not learn. I'm telling you right now, I can give you all the secrets. I just gave you the $1 million formula, 4-step focus formula: direction, ball, achieve your load, feel. I just gave that to you. But until you go out there and try to implement it, until you go out there and try to fail and fail at it and fail at it and fail at it, and you figure it out and you implement it and you tweak it and you put it in your language and you apply it to where you need to apply it, that's when you could be able to have major success. Is you have to learn how to fail. And so many people want to live inside their little bubble right here. They want to live inside their bubble, like my head's in my bubble right now. You want to live in this bubble right here. I got to step outside that circle, allow myself to be vulnerable, allow myself to put myself in a position for all my friends to laugh at me. Oh, you suck. Oh, you're the. Or people tell me I'm not going to do good. I have to allow myself to get outside this circle, to go out there and fail and be vulnerable. And that's where all the growth happens. That's where all the learning happens. That's where you flourish, is outside of that. I'm the most introverted person you'll ever meet. Introverted means shy. I'm the most shy person. You would never believe it. I was the third highest active batting average in Yankee Stadium. Number 1, Paul Konerko. Number 2, Ichiro Suzuki. Number 3, Shea Hillenbrand. Meaning that I had the third highest batting average of all major leaguers in Yankee Stadium. I love performing on stage in the Big Apple. I don't know why. I just love it because I worked so hard on it. But when I left the game, and after the game that night, I go out to a fancy restaurant, and I couldn't get up at the table of the restaurant and walk across the restaurant to use the restroom, because I had a fear of everybody staring at me and they're going to make me think I'm stupid. That's how crazy it is you have to understand that that's where success happens, is when you stand outside and step outside that comfort zone and go. There's no such thing as failure. Failure is part of the process. It's the biggest learning you could do is when you fail.
That's great information. So,
thank you.
Thinking back to the days where you were a kid dreaming of playing in the MLB, what advice would you give to your younger self?
You know why I'm laughing? Because people ask me this question all the time because they want me to give some knowledge, some wisdom. You know what my answer is every time? I wouldn't give myself any advice. I wouldn't say one word to me. You know why? Because I wouldn't listen. So I wouldn't waste my time talking to my younger self and wasting my breath, because I wouldn't have listened. I didn't listen to nobody. I just went out there. I had tenacity. I had drive. I had work ethic. I was going to get there. And whether you're in a part of it or not, I'm going to the big leagues. So I'm kind of different in that way to where I wouldn't do that. What I would give you, because I'm sure you might listen to me with the wisdom that I have and the experience I have, is enjoy the process. And this is sad. Like, we got paid every 2 weeks. Like, you go to your locker in the major leagues, in the clubhouse, there's a check. Like, we get paid lots and lots of money. We get it. I pull and open up my check stub where I see my check, and I would get paid $340,000 every 2 weeks after taxes. Like, mega money. And I never once sat there and said, wow, I'm a millionaire. Not one time in the major leagues did I say that. Nor did I say, oh my gosh, I'm living my dream. I was so worried about performing. I was so worried about the pressure of succeeding, because the pressure to succeed is so great that you lose yourself. And when you lose yourself, you begin playing the pain-driven game. It's hard when you get to the major leagues. It's challenging, because if you get disconnected from who you are, you lose yourself, man. And you get wrapped up with your identity of being a Major League Baseball player. And it's the hardest thing for Major League Baseball players when they leave baseball, leave the game, is that identity. What do I do now? I'm a Major League Baseball player. What do I do with this next chapter of my life? So that's challenging. So you have to enjoy it, because your life's a journey and it's a process. And I never really enjoyed the process. I found solitude. I found comfort. I found confidence through the process, because I worked so hard and I had systems and processes in place and all that to be able to achieve success. But I never was able to sit there and be like, oh, this is cool, I'm in the major league. So you have to enjoy it.
You've shared some great information with us today, and I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Now I want to move into the rapid fire questions.
Yes, sir.
Favorite MLB field you've played on?
It's so hard to answer. I would have to say Fenway Park.
Favorite post-game meal?
I would have it at the hotel. I would never eat at the stadium because I'm crazy. All the time, I'd be in a 5-star hotel. I'd order grilled cheese, French onion soup, and a pitcher of iced tea. And it would cost me $80 for a grilled cheese, French onion soup, and a pitcher of iced tea.
Wow. So your first major purchase as a major leaguer?
Awesome. Great question. A lot of people buy mama a car, a house. A lot of people buy themselves a house. A lot of people buy themselves a pimpin' car. I bought a horse. I bought a horse. I always wanted a horse. When I was your age, I wanted a horse. I grew up in Southern California, and I wanted to get a horse. I love animals. So my mom would never let me get horses or big animals like that. So I always told myself the first purchase I'm going to have is a horse. So I bought a quarter horse and named him CL.
Your favorite motivational or baseball quote?
I have my own quote. And my own quote that I came up with is for coaches, because I like to train the trainers. I like to train coaches. I like to train people. And the more people I could train up, they could help a lot of kids like you. So what it is it's not about the technique. It's how you teach a technique that stimulates growth and creates transformation. That's what it is. It's not about the technique. It's how you teach it. It's how you energize people. It's how you motivate people. It's how you go out there. Right now, I guarantee you, you and your listeners, you want to go learn, you want to go hit, because the motivation and the energy and the passion that I'm bringing. You got to be passionate about what you're doing.
You're working on multiple projects right now. Can you share a little bit about them with the listeners?
Yeah, I'm a real estate agent in Arizona. I love doing real estate. It's a passion I had for a long time. So I do that. I have 5 kids. I have 3 girls in competitive all-star cheerleading. So I'm a cheer dad and not a baseball player anymore. And I have the Against All Odds Foundation, but the biggest thing that I like doing is I like doing motivational speaking, and I like doing coaching programs to where I bring coaches in, I bring people in, and I put them through like a 4, 5, 6 steps and teach them how to find fulfillment. I love teaching people simple steps to sustain peak performance. I was able to be a peak performer for a long time in the major leagues and to be able to master that aspect. So I like teaching people that. And my pride and joy is my hat. I love doing videos. I love being, we're post-editing right now. We're creating a video called Identity for 2V's. So I'll send it to you whenever we get that done. But I love doing that. And 2V's Apparel, voice to the voiceless. We want to inspire people like you to use your voice to impact the world. So living on purpose, understanding your gifts and talents is extremely important, bud. You have to understand your gifts and your talents. And the best thing to do is utilize those talents that make somebody else's life better. That's what the true meaning of fulfillment and life is about.
That's amazing. And where can listeners go to follow you or learn more about you?
On Instagram, it's Shea _Hillenbrand. I don't know why anybody want to do this stuff, but there's been people that like somebody has Shea Hillenbrand because like a fan, because they think it's cool to have like to be me. I don't know why anybody would think it'd be cool to be me. So Instagram, Shea _Hillenbrand. On Facebook, it's Shea Hillenbrand. I have SheaHillenbrand.tv that we're getting ready to launch. But I love teaching guys how to work. I love motivating, inspiring, and mentoring young lads like yourself. So that's where I'm at, and that's my happy space.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing some great knowledge with the Born to Baseball community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I feel super honored to have this opportunity. I love your smile, man. I love your charisma. You do an amazing job, and it's super, super. Thank you so much for allowing me to share a little bit of what I know and experience to maybe be able to help maybe one person that listens to what you got going on.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for listening in. We really hoped you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and be the first to know when new episodes launch. Check us out at borntobaseball.com for free resources and new gear. Download the Born to Baseball app to have real-time conversations, share your game and video highlights, and be celebrated by our BTB team. And of course, on social media, at Born to Baseball, where we can connect live. Now, let's play ball.
Check it out.